Hello and welcome to Films and That. My name's Rob Turnbull.
And my name's Sam Hall.
And today, Sam, what are we looking at?
A Fistful of Dollars. Fuck! It's not that. Don't put that in. A Fistful of Dynamite by Sergio Leone. Sergio Leone's 1972 film A Fistful of Dynamite is a tale of two bandits, an idealist and an opportunist, who are caught up in the Mexican Revolution.
This review contains spoilers. So the film's called Fistful of Dynamite, but watching the film, I thought it was obvious that it was called Duck You Sucker. So what's the history behind that, Sam?
Okay, well, the initial idea was that it was supposed to be a continuation of a Once Upon a Time trilogy. This was supposed to be Once Upon a Time, The Revolution. The studios weren't interested in that. They decided to go with, was it Keep Your Head Down in the Italian version? They decided that the sort of American colloquialism of that would be Duck You Sucker, which Sergio Leone apparently was convinced was a common phrase in America. I think that title didn't do well at all. Nobody cared about it. And they went with what was originally going to be the UK title, A Fistful of Dynamite, and that went over in America. People are a bit confused, really, about what the film was about, and I think that affected the box office figures.
Well, I think that is why this film is arguably one of Leone's least known films.
Yeah.
I like Duck You Sucker because it is so weird and stupid and it doesn't make any sense. And the characters feel the need to keep saying that line throughout the film.
Duck, you sucker.
It's one of these spaghetti western films that was filmed by Italians but for Western audiences.
I wondered how much of it, location-wise, was filmed in Italy, including the cities. There's a couple of scenes with some cities. I'm not sure if some of them looked more Mediterranean to me than genre-wise. It's neither one thing nor the other. It's neither a western, but it is, but it's also a war film, but it isn't.
Yeah, there's a few comedy moments as well.
There's quite a lot of comedy moments. Yeah. I think a lot of them land. Yeah. I think some of them are a bit misplaced in places. Maybe because they're a bit dark. The story centres around a bandit called Juan, who's a kind of peasant bandit. He's not interested in the political upheaval around him, but he's still on the side of the peasants, I guess, because he is one. He finds John, kind of an Irish expat, an ex-IRA member, who's obviously on the run, who's got a massive bag full of dynamite. And he finds him and he thinks, that's the guy I need to rob a bank. But he's reluctant to join him. And some of Juan's men say, well, hang on a minute, let's just rob him and nick all his dynamite. And Juan says, no, you need an expert to use these things. And so the man goes over with the dynamite to say, oh, look, I'll just blow up this tree. This is how easy it is. And then
you kind of expect the boots to be still there, smoking and stuff like that, don't you?
And they don't care that their mate has just died.
That's what I didn't really understand.
Yeah,
I thought he was part of his family as well.
Because he just says that all these bandits that with him are his sons.
Yeah,
but I guess maybe some of them aren't.
But he just didn't seem to care. So no. I don't really get that. Can we talk about the opening to this scene? Because I really felt that they took their time to develop the characters, and I thought the main two characters, they're individuals, and you understand where they're coming from. Because the first time we meet Juan,
yeah,
he's picked up by the stagecoach, and he's kind of insulted by all these people. And there's a great scene where he's sitting there, and they're insulting him, and it's just building and building and building.
It immediately puts you on his side.
Yeah, and
then makes you go, yeah, when it turns out he's outwitted them all, and he's actually a leader of a gang of bandits.
Yeah. But then your sympathies with him are then tested, because doesn't he rape the woman? Is that suggested?
Yes. Yeah, I assume that was cut out probably of some versions, but in the version I have, it's heavily implied that he rapes a woman. So you're immediately you're immediately gone from one moment of, even if the woman was horrible to him, it's still rape. Yeah. So there's a lot of rape in Leone's films, isn't there? But in fact, both the characters are anti-heroes at the end of the day. They still have likeable qualities.
But they're both terrorists. They both kill people for
they
certain
both
reasons.
they both don't have a lot of qualms about murdering people and destroying people's lives. At the same time, they're also kind of the lesser evil, I guess, when it comes to the people they're up against.
Okay, so that brings us on to the next bit of the film, because they become embroiled in the Mexican Revolution.
Yeah. You find out eventually that John is already involved in the Mexican Revolution. It is implied that he's tired of revolution, but at the same time, I guess, he's got skills, he knows where to apply them. But then the main theme of the film, revolution, it's not a lasting solution. Even though Juan is kind of the idiot of the film, at the same time, he has some of the most poignant speeches. And one of them is, revolution is just intelligent people telling stupid people to go and die for them.
But what has happened to the poor people? They're dead! That's your revolution.
It's interesting to see where the politics lie in this film, because I don't feel it's neither.
It's not one, which is great. The great thing about it, it's not one or the other.
Yeah.
It's not for revolution, but it's still, it's not saying that fascism is the way forward.
Yeah, it's not a propaganda piece either way, is it?
Yeah.
So it's quite balanced in that respect. I did like how Juan got involved in the revolution. He's just kind of tricked into robbing the bank. And he goes in and blows the locks off the doors, and there's like revolutionaries in there.
Yeah, instead of money.
And he ends up rescuing all these revolutionaries by accident, and then he becomes their hero, and they carry him off, and he's just like, I just wanted money.
I don't want to be a hero. All I want is the money.
In a way, I imagine he probably regrets the day he met John, because John already had a tragic past, as you see in flashbacks. And Juan has a family, has a unit, he has some kind of goals in life. But all that is taken away from him when he becomes involved in the revolution. And although he becomes a hero, reluctantly, his life is still destroyed by it. He doesn't really get a closure, does he? Because the way the film ends, I don't really think this is a spoiler. The way the film ends is he breaks the fourth wall, looks at the camera and says, "What about me?" He doesn't really get closure, does he? Whereas John does.
They're not shy of blowing shit up in this film, are they?
No, that's what's great about it.
There's one scene like near the beginning, before they go to is it Mesa Verde, before they go there, when John is just trying to blow up a building or something, and it's like this big tower block that they just blow up for little reason. Like they could have got around not doing that in the film, but they went with it, and it's great.
The bridge is probably one of the most memorable scenes of involves an explosion, but it also involves Gatling guns, which are
and
always a
Nazi
favourite.
men.
Yeah, Nazi Mexican militarists.
So scored by Ennio Morricone, as Sergio Leone does a lot of the time. What do you think to the music?
Well, I normally do like the music. I think it was mainly the kind of the sounds I wasn't so keen on.
Yeah.
I wasn't keen on that repetition of Sean. I wasn't a fan of that.
I thought it was really jarring, but I did like it because I just thought it was interesting. I think it's less grand than a lot of other Leone Morricone films, and it's kind of more personal, I felt, but definitely jarring. I've heard a lot of criticisms about the music score in this, but I liked it. So it was interesting.
Oh, okay. There was one thing I didn't like, but I'm sure it's one of these things that lots of people do like, which is the Banco Nacional de Mesa Verde banner that appears over the head of John when Juan finds out he's an explosive expert.
Yeah.
I didn't like that visual at all.
Well, that's interesting about the film. It's not. We were talking about the thematics of it kind of change throughout the film, and there's a bit of comedy, there's a bit of drama, there's a bit of political unrest and darkness and things like that. it does kind of shift between all those things, like a film that was aimed at general audiences would be. So there wasn't like one thematic direction, I felt. So it was a bit confusing in that respect.
Yeah. But there is a lot to like, though. There's so much brilliant cinematography in it, as there always is with Leone. But there really is a lot, a lot of moments that really stick in your mind. And great action scenes. Some of them were more high budget, than some of his other films.
Yeah, well, it was quite a late film for him, wasn't it? It's one of his last films, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he had massive gaps between films, though. So.
Yeah. He only did like 10, didn't he? Something like that.
Not many, yeah.
Yeah. So, Sam, what did you think of A Fistful of Dynamite / Duck You Sucker / what was the other one? Once Upon a Time, The Revolution.
Though I feel it's the weakest of the three Once Upon a Time films, and it's not as good as Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Still, for a weak, if that's a weak example of a Leone film, that just shows how strong his films are, because it's still better than 90% of the films made today.
I agree. Yeah, I was definitely entertained. I thought it flagged a bit towards the last third of the film. I thought it got a bit convoluted. Like it seemed to kind of end, and then there was this whole train sequence, and they were. Didn't really know why that happened, but anyway.
Well, there was a good explosion.
There was a good explosion. Yeah.
Train crashing, you've got to get on board with that.
Tiny trains crashing in miniature.
Don't break the fourth wall, Rob. They were real trains.
But anyway, it is a really interesting film, and it's very entertaining. And just standard Sergio Leone, really. If you've seen any of his other films, you kind of know what to expect.
Duck, you sucker.
Okay, that's it for this time of Films and That. Thanks for watching and subscribing. We'll see you next time.
Bye.